I learned a couple of days ago that Mr. Meltzer gave interviews to the BBC and to Sky News, and they just never broadcast them. And it just goes to show you what
eventually, what they were not put online though.
Not put online.
Yeah,
so they took a long time to put them up.
Well, some people wrote in to him on Twitter and said we saw it, and then a couple of days later he said, well, if it was shown on the TV live, I've not seen it because it was not posted online. So they just didn't want it to linger, you know? Get it over with, show it, and move on to another story.
So that's a great way to make sure that as few people see it as possible.
That's absolutely right. So they shouldn't have interviewed him then. They shouldn't have even called him instead of burying it.
Sure.
Well, been quite a week.
Right.
Definitely.
And of course, Jeremy Hunt, this awful creature, is the champion of media freedom. And he appointed, what's her name? Clooney, Amal Clooney, as the sort of ambassador for media freedom. So he appointed her as the ambassador for media freedom. And she said nothing. So here's this going on. Niels Meltzer, he comes along, he issues this report, and she's this ambassador for media freedom and has nothing to say. I mean, I don't know, is she sort of skiing with George somewhere, or they're off, some junket somewhere?
It's funny, George, because if I'm not mistaken, she was at Assange's side when he came out of the Supreme Court in 2012 when he lost that last appeal. Isn't that right?
Exactly.
Wasn't she with him?
Absolutely right. Yeah, I wanted to address that issue as well. Yes.
I didn't know that.
That was before she became an international celebrity.
Right, right.
So
but she's still part of that law firm. And I mean, she's still a member of that law firm, the Jeffrey Robertson law firm which Jen Robinson is a member of. So she has still some kind of an interest in this. And then she says nothing.
Well, that Hunt, I mean, he really went out there the next day after telling Meltzer to go to hell and don't interfere in our system. And he gave a speech like within 24 hours to some event where praising the free press.
Yes.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Hunt will hunt down. That guy is really hardcore bad news.
That's right. Man. Yeah. Right. And then he went on either Meet the Press or one of those shows, one of those Sunday shows, and said, well, Julian Assange, he's accused of very serious crimes, causing the deaths. He actually said causing the deaths of all kinds of government sources. So he said that.
Total lie. But you know what that guy is doing? He's going on American TV. He's going here and there because he's acting like he's already prime minister. He wants to just convince others that he is the prime minister because he's going on US TV when Trump is in Britain meeting the Queen. So he's got it. I hope he doesn't get it. I really hope he doesn't get it, George.
Right. No, I think no.
Are you British? You have a British passport?
Yes, that's right. Yes, I do.
Can you fly back to London? And you're not a member of the Conservative Party, unfortunately.
I'm not a member of the Conservative Party. What can I do? Just punch him in the face? Just go up to him and just punch him?
Yeah, well, if you can't vote against him, then you'll have to do that, yes.
Well, you sort of want to do that. I mean, you kind of want to punch him once he opens his mouth. I mean,
I agree with you. I agree. He's something else.
Well, they're all these people are dirty. It's so funny to me after all this time with Russiagate, the foreign intelligence services that were involved in the U.S. Presidential campaign were the British. And so they have a vested interest in discrediting Assange.
Yes, they do.
They've done great damage. They've been covered for by the corporate media, covered for by their friends in the Democratic Party, and but they're all crooked, all of them, including him.
That's right.
Especially him.
Yeah.
Yes. But there's a particular kind of sanctimonious Tory politician who does the worst kinds of things, And then he comes along, gives these pious lectures about, well, I'm really for human rights. You know, my real passion is human rights. William Hague, the guy who was the foreign secretary at the time of the onslaught on Libya, has been sort of going around lecturing about war crimes. You know, he really feels very strong about war crimes, particularly crimes against women. And so he's been partnering with that Angelina Jolie about we must end impunity for war criminals. Not war criminals like me, of course. War criminals like you.
That's disgusting. You know, sounds like the Democrats in the United States, the liberal interventionists.
Yes,
the Republicans don't mess around with human rights. No, they don't even pretend.
No.
We're just taking over this country. We need the oil, that kind of thing. But the Democrats are the ones who are given this kind of line that we're protecting human rights. So therefore,
right. Which is why the establishment hates Trump so much, because Trump just doesn't mask anything. He just says, I just want to grab the oil and I want to screw over every other country and every other industry in every other country.
Yeah, he wants to grab a couple of things. He wants to grab a couple of things. Oil. And he wants to screw a couple of things.
That's right.
And but you're right, George. The main job of the president is the pitch man for the front man for empire.
That's it.
And he's really bad at that.
That's
why they hate him.
That's it.
That's why they hate him, because when he bombs somebody, they like him.
Right.
He's bad for the brand. He's bad for the brand.
Very bad.
Obama was great for the brand.
Exactly. I loved Obama.
It was just this week with Trump being in the UK and all the protesters who come out against Trump. And there's so many reasons to protest Trump.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, there's such hypocrisy involved in it also.
Yes.
You know, we have these past presidents, all of whom have committed terrible crimes against people around the world.
Yes.
But if you're charming enough, nobody says anything. In fact, he's compared to Obama. Oh, look at Obama. He was so wonderful. You know, he still killed a lot of people. But
it was wonderful. He made Americans think they weren't racist anymore. We had a black president. We had a black president.
Huge selling
point. He's a smoother guy. He looked. I mean, all these silly photos comparing him with the Queen, with Trump, and his suit, his cutaway coat fit better. All kinds of. It's really disgusting to me.
Right.
The British government.
That's exactly how. Yeah, you're right. That's exactly how the English think. They are that shallow. They look at Obama. He looks great in a suit. He looks great in jeans. Whatever Obama wears, he looks great in. And that's about it. Whereas Trump just looks like a slob. And they look at that and they can't get past it. He looks like a fat slob. And that's pretty much their entire mentality.
Well,
and he sounds rough.
It's also a class thing.
Yeah. And he, it's as far as the British are concerned, this is their kind of idea of the ugly American, that he's sort of rough. He sounds like a New Yorker, a street person. He doesn't have the smooth, urbane air of Obama. That's the British for you. I mean, it doesn't go any deeper than that, really.
And Americans, too. I think if Trump had better social skills, a lot of people wouldn't have any problem with it at all. People who protest him would find ways to go along with what he does. So it's just very sad. It's sad to see
Assange actually spoke about that.
Oh, yeah?
That's why I was saying it was classist, because he was talking about that in the lead up to the general election, pointing out that a lot of the hatred against Trump was not actually because of his policies. It was because they perceived it as an ego boost class-wise to criticize him. And like, for example, Hillary Clinton calling his supporters deplorable was a class reference to the people that supported Trump. And so, yeah, I think that goes into it as well, whether it's the UK's perception of him or Americans' perception of him.
Right.
Just a